My name's Andrew Van Assche, and I do slab-built stoneware ceramic pottery. And I'm from Massachusetts, a little town of 600 people in western Mass. Instead of throwing on a wheel, so as you can see, nothing is round, I roll the clay out into flat sheets and then form the pieces from flat sheets of clay. So they're all square or flat or rectangular. That's the process of building the pieces. The decoration, instead of using, which is common in pottery, kind of a shiny, melty glaze, I'm using a combination, they're called clay slips, a combination of clay and different metal oxides that give you different color in the firing. So they're all fired on. After I do the initial firing, which is called a bisque firing, a low temperature firing, I get on there with pencil and ruler and architectural templates and draw the, do the design on there. And then I use masking tape between each color, gives you the really sharp edges. Each of these is like a little piece of masking tape. So it's a lot of work for the price. It's really a good deal. Colors, people really, they come in the booth, especially on a sunny day, and they react to the calmness of the color. I don't use any primary colors. They're all grayed down. So they're more colors that you would see in nature, at least in the northern hemisphere. And it's just kind of interesting to see that everyone has that same sort of, oh, this is soothing, this is peaceful. That's kind of fun to work with. And I think that those colors work well for my pieces because the pieces are so angular and kind of harsh in a way, and I think the soft colors kind of tone them down a little bit. I make my own clay, and then I have a big slab roller, which is almost looks like an old kind of clothes wringer thing. It's this big wheel that turns and a big, it's hard to describe. So I roll out big pieces of clay that are about 1/4 inch thick and maybe like 2 feet by 3 feet. And then I have plastic templates where I cut the shapes that I need because I know what I'm going to be building with them later. Before they get too dry that they're going to crack, but they're still kind of pliable somewhat, that's when I score the edges. Like you can see this better. So to put these two together, you take the clay and you rough up the edges, and then you take very wet clay, which is called slip, and you put that all along your seam, and you put it together, and you sort of paddle it a little bit. It's the trickiest thing about slab building is to get these seams not to crack later. So if you've been doing it since the 70s like I have, you sort of learn how to do that well. I was, at the time, this was in the late 70s, I was working in a private school and doing art with the kids. And I started myself sort of enjoying the process and doing it, and just very gradually learned books and everything about how to do it, started doing shows, and here I am all these years later. How do I want them to feel? I want them to feel like they'd like to have it, take it home.